Good evening,
Bye-bye.
and thanks for listening.
That was a good one. Short.
Hold on.
Wow.
I'm gonna try
Did
to
you hit
talk.
record?
I did hit record. I'm talking while I'm sitting down. I'm slowly sitting down. Slowly. That's too low. That's too low. Okay, I think we're good.
Perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 141 of the best podcast in the world, the Green Suitors Podcast, where we like to give back to the community. And the community, we mean our Patreon
Yes.
patrons, because we do monthly giveaways on here. And since we're doing a monthly giveaway, we're also going to do a Festool swag giveaway.
Ooh.
What do you think? Do you think I should get something out of the drawer, or do you think I should do the sustainer this week?
Let's do out of the drawer.
Out of the drawer. Hold on. Drum roll.
Oh.
We have
That's a highly collectible.
this bottle's actually really nice. I'm a little upset about it because I got one when I was doing the internship there.
Mm-hmm.
Leo uses it.
You want to win it?
It is a.
Nah, I'm not a patron.
It is a.
It's drink thing. It's a little drink cup. Yeah, look, see? You push the little latch here.
And it's got a. Is it sealable when it shuts that lid on the top? Is it sealed?
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
It's like a Yeti. It's not a Yeti, but it's just a cool little slim drink cup. That's what we're going to be giving away tonight. But that's not the only thing we're giving away, everyone. We have 2 gift cards for $100 a piece to 2 lucky patrons, which means tonight 3 people are going to win something.
Wow.
By people, again, we mean patrons, because our giveaways are for those individuals and those individuals alone. And if you don't like it, then become a patron. We have 410 entries. 2 people are going to win $100 gift cards to forge3d.store. Our buddy Tyler, Forge3D.
Yes.
I'll wait to talk about what this month's giveaway is. So
Okay,
let's do the drawing. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
410 entries. Who is the first?
I get 5 of those myself, and then 5 for Marianne, right? So we get 10 entries.
Well, you don't have any because you're not a patron either. Marianne does. I'm actually looking at her name right now. However, if she wins, I will spin again.
Kelly's got 5 too.
Yeah, if she wins, I will spin again. If Nicole wins, I will spin again.
Okay, so we're giving one to the team, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Here we go. Number 1. Who do you think it's going to be?
I'll get you something, Sedge. I'll get you something.
I need to open up my Pilsner.
Wicked Lodge.
Wicked Lodge. Who's the first winner? Oh, look at that. Somebody we all know, Mr. Eric at Barber Design and Build.
All right.
Yes.
Great job, Eric.
Nice.
Him.
Congratulations, Eric.
Yeah, he won a $100 gift card to Forge 3D.
Wow.
Let's remove all instances. Eric, you cannot win again. Sorry about your luck. Number 2.
For a new car.
For a new car, a new Corvette. Well, not new, used. It was driven by Ronnie for a few months.
Got old.
David McCloskey.
All right. Congratulations,
David McCloskey. I always take pictures of this now because I'm just waiting for the day that I get. Oh, hey, by the way, he's only a $1 patron. You know how I know that?
Wow.
You got 1 entry?
Because it says remove. It does not say remove all instances.
Oh.
Which means he only got 1 entry into the drawing. And I just would like to highlight that for all of you out there that are thinking about coming to patron. We have a $1 tier. And you get an opportunity to win. He's a $1 patron, which we appreciate. Doesn't matter how much you guys are contributing to the pot.
$12 a year.
He had one entry out of 410, and he is a winner of a $100 gift card.
You know,
Congratulations, David.
Warren Buffett said not long ago, I heard him talking on a podcast, and he said it was one of the best deals right now going to be, for that investment and the amount that
he's a patron.
Yeah. He said it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's an apprentice, I believe, right? Warren Buffett.
He's a floor sweeper.
Hey,
he's a floor. So he's trying to
Ronnie, Ronnie, just really quick, what are we up to in giveaways this year? It's June, so
I did we pass 6 million?
I think so.
Oh yeah, we passed
Yes,
6
we
million
passed.
like 2 months ago.
Oh yeah, I need to add it up. I know we passed 6 million though. 6.2 million, something like that. Last time I
Wow.
checked. Yeah. The average, I think it's something like the average patron wins somewhere around 800 to 900,000 a year in goods.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
like
the
that.
average patron. Yeah.
I'll have to check my math. It's something
Yeah.
like
It's close. It's close.
it's give or take $100, $200.
I want to
All
work
right, for
for you,
those-
Ronnie. I want to go to work for you.
Yeah. For those of you that are watching this either on Patreon or YouTube, because Steve forced me to start posting it to YouTube. And I actually do that because it wasn't something that I wanted to explain to Nicole how to do. But here's the bottle. Who's the lucky winner? Here we go. Don't be Patrick from Leather by Dragonfly. Don't be Patrick from Leather by Dragonfly.
He's going to retire in about 174 days.
Yeah, about Cameron Butcher.
Ooh,
Cameron Butcher. Hold on. I need to make sure that I put the
Cameron
cup in
Fulton's
there.
going to really be thinking he was lucky for a second.
Yes.
Yeah. Congratulations to everybody
Congratulations.
on our
Congratulations.
monthly giveaway. And we have no new patrons to welcome. However, I would like to talk about what our giveaway is for this month. And again, if you're listening and you're not a patron and you want your chance to win, then go to patreon.com/Green Suiters podcast and sign up for one of the tiers. But this month, our great friends, Bits.
All right.
They are giving us not one, not two, but three $100 gift cards to bitsbits.com this month.
Roundovers for days.
Yup. Roundovers,
Wow.
chamfers. All I know is that
Wow.
Tyler, I guess you better step your game up if you want to come back and be a
Yeah.
podcast giveaway
going-
Great.
participant.
Roundovers,
Roman OGs.
flutes, chamfers. Oh my.
Yes.
Straight bits.
Rabbits.
You can get everything you want at
Rabbit.
bitsbits.com.
Rabbit.
It's
Rabbit.
awesome.
Huge thank you to MJ and Paul over there at Bits. We always
Thank
appreciate
you.
your guys' participation.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Much
So
appreciated.
are we spinning for that now?
No,
No,
that's next.
Come on.
Let's
I want
go.
to
Spinning.
get some
Let's do
router
an-
bits.
Let's do an
Yeah.
hour of spinning.
just
just
1
spin.
hour.
Yeah.
Well,
let's just
we
spin.
kind of did that on an episode. You remember when we did
Yes, we
the
did. You're
episode
right.
100 giveaway
You're
and we
right.
did like 10 giveaways?
You get a car. You get a car.
You get a car. You get a car. Guys,
That's
I
how
got to
got
tell
your
you,
Corvette, Ronnie, wasn't it?
What's it? Yeah, that's where I want it. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
green.
I need to tell you about my day. How should we do this?
What
Did we do?
Hang on. What have you been up to, Jason?
That's the way to do this.
Yeah, but you and I both have a similar thing to talk about.
Yes.
But today was just a crappy day. And I'm going to save what happened today till after we're done talking about what we've been up to. How about that?
Okay. So that sounds great. Because will it lead into a discussion?
Probably.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Does it involve poles and olive oil?
It does. And money.
Mm.
Installed in vehicles.
Mm.
No.
Oh,
With
Basements.
with and swimming with dolphins?
Maybe. Okay, here's what I've been up to. We'll talk about this a little bit more, but yesterday I had a wonderful visitor in the shop. I had Sean, one of our patrons. He came by. We hung out in the shop. We got to throw some delicious meat on the German spinny grill. I am happy to say that I think I found a new way to eat chicken that I love and I don't really remember ever having in my life. And I think I probably won't ever eat chicken breast again. And that is chicken thighs. Delicious. I had them in Germany and then Nicole's like, we should buy them. And so I made them yesterday. I'm like, why have we not been eating these more often? Whole nother conversation. I don't want to go down the off the cut podcast food network route, but we did cook some great food. It was wonderful. Sean was in the military, so we reminisced a little bit about our time in the military. That was fun. He was amazing with the kids. That was pretty cool. But Sean, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll let Sedge continue this conversation when he talks about what he's been up to. What did I didn't really do much this weekend. Yesterday last week I got the 5 solid days out in the shop. We talked about that midweek last week, but I got the built-in all installed. We discussed how I was going to go about doing the trim, so I got a pretty good plan for that moving forward. Didn't get a chance to get any of it done today because our day sucked, but I'm going to save that for when we're done talking about what we've been up to. So Sedge, since you and I have a similar thing that we need to merge together, you tell us what you've been up to.
Nothing really.
Okay. Ronnie?
Sean dropped in at Festal this morning.
How
It's
was
really
it?
cool. I'm going to tell you, it's when he had reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm going to be driving through," I said, "Oh, cool. Stop in. Absolutely." And we scheduled Monday morning at 8:00. Thank God it was Monday morning at 8:00. This is what I call my hell week because I got national sales meeting and it's just nothing but all the prep and everything. But we hung out for a while and Sean Lund, of course, dropped in. We had such a good time. I was showing him all around Festool. He met a bunch of people, met some VPs. He met Clint, our CEO. It was kind of cool. Clint was in the middle of a meeting and I interrupted him. It looked like a big conference call that he wanted to get out of, so it was kind of fun. And it was just really neat to show him around, and as I call it, the family. And we hung out and repair quite a bit.
Oh, cool.
So, Sean, I want to thank you for stopping in. It's always nice to show off the joint, but that was really, really nice what you brought me.
Oh, yeah.
He brought me some killer IPAs, dude.
I got the same
I
one.
mean,
those cans
classics.
are sweet.
Classic artwork on the cans, but oh my God, it is. Thank you so, so much. Okay, so I want to I started thinking about it, and I've known Sean for a while because he used to reach out to me on Instagram, and he became a patron. And it's the first time I met him in person.
Same with me.
So yeah, but I felt like I have known him forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really weird. So you know how we do beers with the boys, bourbon with the boys, and stuff. It is so cool to meet our patrons in person because sometimes I just get, I see that little picture, but then I meet him in person, like Adam Fuller. I went, holy shit, is he tall? And Sean, it was great meeting you because you're about the same height as I am. And it's just great hanging out. I mean, Jerry, I met you up in Chicago that time at JC Lick. That was really cool. And Dawn and everybody who stopped by the JLC booth. I'm going to tell you guys, you want to know something? We are really, really lucky. We get to hang out, the three of us, on Monday nights. I mean, this drops for our patrons on Friday, but the regular public on the following Monday, I believe, right?
Yes.
But we are really lucky. We're friends. We like talking about stuff and kibitzing. There's a lot of really cool people who listen to our podcast.
Yes.
And our patrons are the nicest daggone people in the world. And I really
Art.
Except for Eric Spenceley.
Except
I forgot.
He's an a-hole.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm gonna tell you, this is worth it, and this is worth the time to put into this. I can't wait for now. It's being called, everybody, just so you know, Bourbon with the Boys last Friday. It's no longer Green Suitors Con. It's called The Con.
The Con.
The Con.
And what's funny about it is that you all think you're coming to a meetup, but that's where the con is.
It's
like all this, we're gonna go, hello.
Yeah.
Sleep.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Yeah. Oh,
Hello.
hey. And everybody who's listening that wasn't part of the Bourbon of the Boys, Ronnie forgot completely.
Oh, I did. It was the first time.
In late.
First time I've forgotten anything podcast related. I did.
Unbelievable.
I got that text from Jason. Are you okay? And I'm like, why does he care how I'm doing right now? Oh,
that's why.
And yeah, that was fun Friday night. It's so much fun doing this. I really enjoy it. I also got out in the shop, did some more work with Shaper Origin. I'm getting ready to release a few more videos that people have been asking for. You know how you just get caught up in stuff, and the next thing you know, 4, 5, 6 months go by, and you're like, oh my God. I had said, yeah, I'd do some more videos, and I've been working with Plate a lot, Workstation, and just trying to break down what I am going to do. I got like 5 videos planned, or 5, as I call them, attempts to get the videos done, to make sure it comes across very simply to break it down, because I've been also watching a few videos out there and people skip a lot of steps, not just at Shaper, but out there and watching people. And I'm like, I have to watch 2 or 3 videos myself to catch exactly what they're doing, then go back and reference other videos. And I'm just like, and I think that's what I like to do, is not overanalyze something, but try to. I do this at Festool, is break it down super simple, because I may have somebody I'm teaching. Like I know tomorrow when I'm teaching the sales managers, I have people who've been with Festool for 30 years. I have people who just started yesterday or today, and I got to break it down so everybody in that room understands, because I got a lot of cool new tools to show them with the routers. But I want to make sure you can. Jason, you're really good at this when you break things down in steps and try not to leave too much out. Follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're used to that because of your Army background and teaching in the Army. But you got to make sure you teach to the different levels, so it comes across where you
do it in a
don't
way
leave.
that, yeah, everybody can understand, regardless of your skill level.
Yeah, and
which is hard.
It is very difficult, but I love doing it. I love doing it. And so I've been working on that and just having fun in the shop, doing a ton of yard work. But I'm getting ready to build a gate. I got this really cool stainless steel hardware. And this is the first time Chris and I, we were shooting the video that we dropped today, Monday morning. But I also incorporated, okay, now we're going to reshoot this, but I'm going to talk extensively on reclaimed lumber. Okay, and show how to do a lead test on this paint, because I don't know if it's lead or latex. Because somebody, I do the lick test.
Yeah. Tastes like lead.
And I
That's
see
the
what
best
kind
way.
of.
If it tastes like lead, it's lead.
You suck
it's
on
cool.
it for a while, you can tell.
Yeah.
But what happened is my buddy Brian gave me this cedar beam, a true 4x4, that was overall 18 feet long. And he had just cut a little piece off it. So I cut the ends off. Jason, you haven't seen it in the shop. The growth rings on this
I haven't been over there in a while.
Are exceptional. So I said, I'll save it. And I put it on my little ledge in my garage. And I pulled it out. So I'm going to go step by step and do a few videos on that, on reclaiming lumber properly, and what are some of the things you have to do to make sure you do it safely and you don't ruin like planer knives, because I've already pulled out 300 staples.
Ooh.
Because they had attached screen to it.
I bet you missed one.
No, I use magnets.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll hit it. You'll hit it with your table saw blade.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. But you know what? It's going to be fun because there'll be some bandsaw work in it, and it's just a small gate between the shed and the house. And I was waiting for them to put the new gutters on, which they did last Friday. So it's pretty.
Oh yeah,
cool.
are they done with your roof?
Okay, so the roof got to put in the Friday before Memorial Day, and then we had Memorial Day, and then last Friday they came and did. Last Thursday they did the gutters, and didn't finish because they didn't have bring enough material. But they came the next day, and on the northwest corner they had, on the back they had done the downspouts, but they didn't do the downspouts on the front. Good thing it didn't rain, but it was cool. And they had I don't know what happened, but Marianne pointed up and I went, what the hell is that? And I took a picture, enlarged it. The corner mold was pulled off by the downspout and some of the siding had pulled away. Well, took the picture and can you guys still hear me?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It's just weird.
You're good.
My earpods have been acting up. And so what happened was I took the picture, sent it. When they came back out, they fixed everything. I have been extremely happy with the process because these guys did a great job. It was upgraded from 5-inch gutters, 4.5-inch gutters to 6-inch gutters.
Huge
Ooh.
difference.
Boy, I'm having a really bad problem with my pods. Can you guys
Like,
hear me?
Nothing has changed.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
sound perfect.
Yeah. I'm getting Ronnie's kind of garbly.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm gonna hit you.
Virtually.
Yeah.
Hey, Sedge, try without yours. I I let my speakers be on. I've done that for 5 months now.
Or
The
what we could
microphone
do.
cancels out the speaker of your speaker in front.
Okay. So I could
We-
just take my pods off because I
Yeah.
think it's coming through my speaker.
Yeah,
Yeah, you should be able to.
it works.
How about Ronnie? Why don't you tell us what you've been up to while he's doing that?
Okay.
Then he'll know if he can
It's
hear
funny.
himself.
Every time we have a bourbon or a beers with the boys, it always throws me off because that was just like what 2 days ago, Friday.
Yeah.
And we do an update there kind of too. And I'm like, what did we do? Okay, where were we? But everybody wasn't on there. So I might have to repeat a couple of things. But I finished a big project last week. It was the first week with Cameron out. I have him full time now, pretty much, except for now he drives and has a social calendar that I have to work around. We got to work on that. He's got too many friends right now. We got to work on that. I try to be flexible though, so that's good. I mentioned a big job that I was gonna be quoting out. I did that on Friday, right before our beers with the boys or bourbon with the boys. I did that right before, and I've already heard back from him. He said yes, which is really cool. Because it was an hour away, I actually took the time to measure for the job. So usually I'm so close, it's within 30, 40 minutes. I'll wait till they say yes, till I go and spend the time to measure the job for the order because I don't want to waste my time. This one was far enough away that it's like close to an hour and it was very complicated. They seemed like they were going to do it. So I spent the time to get all of the measurements. It took like an hour and a half for me to measure. And I mentioned on the call that I think it's called Polycam. Is that what it was called? I believe.
Yeah.
I've had this app on my phone for about 6 months. It's like $100 a year. I knew I had an application for it, but I hadn't like tried it. It's one of those things almost like having a new tool. And you're like, it's like having the domino and you're like, but I know what the pocket screws do. It's almost like that. But while I was there, I was like, the homeowners left me alone. They went back in the house. It was such a complicated layout under the deck and the design, the angles, 22 turns. I thought I'm going to try this app out and do it. And it's like a LiDAR scanner. And I just walked around. It tells you when you need to slow down. And as you go, what you see gets outlined in white lines. And that's how you know if you're scanning it. And you just go all the way around. And when you're done, you say process and it processes the image. And it's unbelievable. I mean, I'm knowing that they make 3D scanners and I have a friend that has one and they're really expensive and they're dead on accurate, just like a laser measurer. This is a phone. And that's what blows me away. This phone does this and get the accuracy. Like I have all my manual measurements. When I came home, you can measure anywhere on this 3D graphic that you can actually walk through. Like it's like a SketchUp walkthrough. You can spin it around. You can say, do a blueprint. It'll automatically it looks like an architect's blueprint that has all the dimensions. Everything that I checked was within 1 to 3 inches. And we're talking about distances over 60 feet, 20 feet one way. It was within 1 to 3 inches. And that's fine for what I do because I order everything a foot long and cut it on site, whether it's the gutters or the panels. And I was just so impressed with it because what's nice is when I get home, sometimes there's a measurement I'm not sure about, or I'm thinking I should have got that. This is a great way to be able to look back and see. Now, where I see a lot of the people that listen to our podcast benefiting from this, if you were going to someone's house and you were doing something like built-in cabinets on each side of a fireplace, or you were they were thinking about doing something in a kitchen or something along those lines, you could scan the room and have that so that when something comes up, you don't have to go back out to the job site. You can see that outlet that you didn't think about, for example, or something along those lines. It really lets you visualize much better than pictures. And that's what I've always done, is take a bunch of pictures. So I was pretty excited about that. I'm going to start using it. The app includes some cloud space as well, which I'm sure that's because of space. I'm sure that's not a small file. I'm sure the data points on that are probably mind-boggling for it to be able to get all of those dimensions
It's
inside.
called Polyscan.
It's called Polycam, I believe. I'll make sure that's what it's called.
I'm going to look it up right now.
Ronnie,
Ronnie, I have a question about it, if you don't mind, real quick.
Yeah.
So it gives you a file. Is it possible for you to take that file and like look at it on your computer? Can you upload it to another software?
So what I have done so far is just look at it on the app, but it also puts it out on their cloud. It also makes a 3D file that's like 3D printable. So the other thing this app does is allows you to take an object and scan the object and make it a 3D, like it could be 3D printable. So it not only scans a room, it also will scan an object.
Wow.
So I tested it on, it was around Christmas when I installed it. So it's about exactly 6 months. And we had a little silver cutout that says Wish on it on our shelf. And I took it off and set it on our kitchen counter. And I just went around it and scanned it. And it tells you slow down. And you can see the places that you miss. It looks like holes. If you saw DIY Dave, 3D Dave,
Yep.
it's the same type of view. You can see the holes and you have to go back. And it's just constantly. And when it's done, it actually overlays the picture of the object on the scan. So it even gets the colors. So for people who have like a 3D color scanner, printer, they can even print out in colors. It's amazing. I was super impressed when I scanned under the deck, and like it was an outdoor room pretty much. And I was impressed at that point. With when you say process, it applies all of the pictures onto so you see the colors, you see everything. It even has their outdoor furniture, like their stools. I didn't even want to get that, but it's in there. It even shows where their stools are exactly. They look like it's just amazing.
So I'm looking at the app right now. I'm going to download this. It says export any format.
Yes, and there's
OBJ,
a trial.
DXF.
Yeah,
it's all kinds of different files. That's really cool.
It's really cool. And I just waited for the right opportunity, I guess. When I did it in December, it wasn't a great time. I don't do a lot of that kind of stuff, and we're getting into the time when I can use that. So I guess that's why I waited a while. But it's also one of those things where when you don't trust it, and you know the way I use my laser measure normally, I just do want to try something new. But I thought I'll do both. That way I don't regret it. And I checked it to my measurements, and I was extremely impressed. It was really cool. Very cool. So I did that.
I just downloaded it and purchased it.
Awesome.
It's 96 a year.
I think it's 99.
99.
Yeah, 99. Yeah. It's really cool.
I'm just thinking it could be very handy for the kitchen.
Yes. Because you can it's accurate enough for that. I think as longer you take scanning, the more accurate it is what I take. Like I didn't take a lot of time to do directly above me under the deck. And those deck rafters look a little blurry because I didn't like take the time I didn't care about that. So I didn't scan. So it kind of looked a little fuzzy, but the more time where you spend it's just dead on. So impressive. Cameron told me that he heard, I have an iPhone 12. He heard that the new iPhone, that's one of the things, the LiDAR scanning is even better than like on the 12. So it's really cool.
This is so cool.
Very easy too. Like when you bring it up, it just says object, room, and you're just someone's outside my shop. Hold on 1 second.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Okay, it's Cameron and his friend. I don't know why they're back. His friend has a loud exhaust on his truck.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Now I'm enamored by this app.
I do think it'd be of interest to a lot of people who build things to check it out. For sure.
That is super cool.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If you do one big project, because you're right with cabinetry, like it would be perfect. It would have been perfect for this little space that I'm building this built-in at. It would have given me all I wouldn't have to sit there with the tape measure and done all this stuff. And you're not building to the exact size of an opening. You're building within, like if it's 80, I'm going to build it to be, 76. So give myself some room on
Right.
both sides. Cause yeah, that's, man,
Also-
that's,
What
Go ahead.
I really like what you said, Ronnie, about it is I'll probably get it as well. If I'm building something, it is a way to remember the space,
Yes.
and not second guess yourself or, hey, let me look at that space. Did we incorporate this into our measurements?
Right.
And you can
right.
look at it and go, oh yeah, there was a little bump out there.
Yeah, and for me, like usually before Cameron and I start a project, I'm the one that goes out, the sales guy. I do the orders, and he sees it for the first time when we show up with materials. And this allows, usually what I do is I'll bring up the pictures and I'll Apple play them to our TV and I'll show it to him like the night before. This is a way to show even more to someone who's going to be working at the job site what the plan and what it looks like, where you don't stand there looking at it when you get there the next morning. Also, for someone who went and measured for jobs and then never go back, and they have a
Yeah.
crew, this allows them to put this in that file of that project, and they can go in and look and they can see the job, ask any questions before they show up.
And
So
bring
I
the
can see that.
appropriate stuff
Yes,
and not
yes,
get blindsided.
because it's even good for me, because when I order, sometimes it's 6-7 weeks before I go back.
Yeah.
I forget little details. And
Mhm.
sometimes I'll see and be like, oh, I better grab this to make sure I take care of that quirky little thing they've got going on there.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I'm super impressed that the iPhone can do that. That's not like you're buying a special scanner. You're not buying a thing that goes on a tripod, and it's just really cool. Really
Right.
cool.
There's a few times we show up where Mikey went out, looked at this room, and then we show up with everything that we built. And I'm going into that room for the first time, and I'm like, oh shit, that ain't gonna fit. Because
Yeah.
he didn't see the whole picture of what we were building.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a way to do it. You can even on your phone screen actually zoom into it. You can spin it around. You can go inside
Oh,
the room and look. It's like virtual reality. So if you were Apple playing it, for example, to a conference room TV, you can have a meeting about it. It's just
oh
so
my God.
so cool. So
That's killer.
that's this week we've got some things we're going to be doing, some other projects, and I've been working on, I think I mentioned my mom's sidewalk, which is like a 45, actually today I found out I did the forms. So it's actually more than 45 feet long. It's curvy. The whole thing's curvy, so it's kind of hard guessing. Ends up being, I think it's 50 feet long, the length of
Wow.
the forms.
And you're breaking out the mud mixer, right?
Yes, I have it all together. I cannot wait to use it.
oh, is that new one you were talking about?
Yes, concrete's
Yeah.
being delivered tomorrow. So we just have to do gravel. The forms are done. We just have to do gravel, and we're going to be hitting the 82 bags of 80-pound. And this machine can do that in an hour and a half.
Jeez.
So it's going to be cool. Looking forward to seeing that one.
I did something similar to that to this morning.
What's that?
Only I just did it all by hand.
I don't do things by hand. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I'm too good for that.
Yeah, I know. That it would still be worth it if you're just doing a bag or two. I don't think it'd be worth getting the machine out, but it's kind of like a paint sprayer, It's only a certain amount where it's maybe not worth it. But yeah, if we're doing a lot of bags, it'll be cool. I'll get some video of it. I'll put,
Yeah, I can't wait. I've
Yeah, I'll
been
get
watching a lot of mud mixer videos.
I did once I watched it on YouTube. YouTube
Yeah.
started showing me all of the mixtures. And there's a lot of people out there that are building houses like off the grid that concrete trucks would laugh at them. And they're doing foundations with these things, like poured foundations. And they're getting pallets and pallets of concrete. For my purposes, my mom's would need like 2 yards, and a lot of the trucks minimum are 5 yards. So she'd have to buy 5 yards of concrete. It only needs like a little bit more than 2. So that's a perfect use for it. There's not going to be any waste. And I called Lowe's and Home Depot. Lowe's said June, the dates. Lowe's said 10 days out to deliver. I went to Home Depot and they said tomorrow. I was like, Home Depot wins. It's about the same price.
Wow.
Shame on you. Shame.
Wow.
I don't buy a lot from Home Depot because it's not really convenient to us, but it is there. And I went out and they're going to deliver it tomorrow. They gave me a great window, sometime between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. So it's like you'd pretty much know when they're coming.
I can't. I hate it. I hate windows like that.
It's a 10-hour window. We'll
and then
be
they
there.
always come at like the last 5 minutes of that window.
Yeah. I just said on the instructions, no need for us to be there. Just put it in the driveway. I don't need to be there. It's very rare that I get things delivered because I have a lot of trailers and I have things, but this is, 2 pallets weighs, I would say 5,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I have an 18-foot car hauler, but still it's just better to get it to get that delivered.
Did I ever tell you guys the story about when I got those black Husky cabinets from Home Depot? How they delivered them? Ronnie, did you ever hear this?
No, this is good.
I ordered these things and it was the winter time. And it was when I lived down in Greenwood. And I remember waking up one morning, had no knowledge that these things were going to be delivered. And I looked on my doorbell camera for some reason. And I see these 2 giant things directly behind my wife's Jeep in the snow. So like, I don't know when they got delivered, but it snowed like crazy that evening and that morning, I guess early. I guess they delivered them early in the morning. No idea that they were even out there. And I was like, what the heck are these? Went outside, 2 gigantic boxes covered in snow directly behind my wife's car, to where if my wife needed to leave, there's no way she would have ever gotten out.
Wow. That's like when they set things right in front of the garage door that are short. It drives me crazy because if you open the garage door, you're in your car, you don't know it's there and you back over it. I see them
Right.
do that all the time. They'll set it right at the garage door. Don't do that because we're probably inside.
Crazy.
That's funny.
Was that one of them dinged?
Yeah, one of the doors was dented, which they
That's what it was.
replaced. But yeah.
You still
Oh,
have
man.
those?
I do. The 2 cabinets are in the basement, and then the 2 big like lockers are in the basement.
Yeah.
The 2 cabinets and the 2 upper cabinets and 2 base cabinets are in the shop. Those will eventually be moved, and everything will be in the basement. Just because I'm going to do some different stuff in the shop. But I would like to tell you about my day.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because I'm not super happy about it. And I already know that I got ripped off.
Uh-oh.
Oh man.
I mean, I already know. But I got to give a little bit of backstory to this company. So, first of all, my wife did not have a great day. Super stressful day. So that just added, fuel to the fire about today. I had 2 meetings today to go over I'm doing the shop layout stuff. And I have 2 people that I'm currently working with right now. So I had back-to-back meetings with them this afternoon. Well, our cat, I know that this is all over the place right now, but it'll all make sense. Our cat, Susie, she's about 14 or 15 years old. We've had her since before Nicole and I even got married. We found her in Germany, brought her back to the States. Well, when we came back from Germany this time, we like went upstairs and outside of Max's room, I'm like, man, do you smell that? Like it smells like one of the dogs must have gotten here and peed because we have carpet upstairs. I was like, who knows how long this has been here? But she, the girl that's watching our pet, she didn't say anything. So like a day or 2 goes by and we're like, we couldn't figure out where the smell was coming from. We didn't see any stains on the floor. And then my wife goes in the closet and there's a blanket on the floor and she grabs it and smells it. And it's like, whoa, who knows if it had been there for like a week or 2. So it had an opportunity to like soak and just fester in this room, in this closet. So we've been doing everything we could to try to fix the problem. Couldn't fix the problem. So I ended up today ripping out all of the carpet. So I came home, had some stuff to do after the gym, went upstairs, ripped out the carpet, prepped the floor because we're going to put not hardwood. We're going to put the same flooring that we put down here, but we know we're going to do it in all the closets and a couple areas upstairs. So we're just like kind of prepping for that. But this was a perfect opportunity because you got to get rid of the carpet and the pad. You have to.
Yep.
Because unless you catch it right away, it's a problem. Here's the other thing. She's done it twice on our leather couch.
Oh, the new one?
Yes. We caught it. We caught it the second time she did it. So we were able to remedy that. We used like an enzyme cleaner. But then there was another spot that we noticed from when she did this spot, and that had been there for a while. And so I cleaned it and I was like, what the heck is that smell? And Nicole had a good idea. She's like, why don't we flip this thing up and see if it's like underneath, like it went in between the cushions. Sure enough, it did. And it had been there for who knows how long. And it was like crystallized. And I'm pretty sure we took care of that issue now, luckily.
Mm-hmm.
And then this morning, I go in my closet, and I'm packing because I'm flying to Georgia tomorrow. And I pick up a pair of shorts that was on the ground. It's wet. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. What is going on? Right. So, luckily I caught that early enough, did it. So that's how the morning started.
Wow.
So I went downstairs to the basement, got some tools because I bought all these tools to do the flooring when I did the entire first floor. Went back upstairs, did everything, came back downstairs, put the tools away, turn around, and I noticed that there's water all around my hot water heater.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like,
Uh-oh.
you have got to be kidding me. And this was at like, I'm getting ready to go to the dump to take the carpet and the padding and everything that I ripped out. And so I call Service Plus, which I probably shouldn't have said the name, but I'm going to. I called Service Plus, which is a local company that I use for heating and HVAC. And it's one of those companies, which most of them now all have this. You can pay like $7 a month. And, if you need them to come out and you get work done, you don't have to pay the fee for them to come out. And which that alone on one call, it's worth it for the year. But they also do like every 6 months, they come out and do a check on your plumbing, and they'll clean out like your main line for free. And they do checks on your air conditioning, all that stuff. Well, there's two different teams. You have the HVAC teams and you have the plumbing teams. And this has been my experience so far. Every time I've had an HVAC guy come out, we've got a really nice HVAC unit that the previous owner put in. They come out, check it. They're like, system is running great. You have a great air conditioning unit. No worries. Your UV light on the inside could probably be replaced. Whatever. Here's how much it would cost. No pressure. Plumbing, every single time. They are a commission-based sales force.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could give anybody one piece of advice, even though it's probably pretty hard to find now with any big reputable company, because I've noticed this among a lot of companies lately, they're a commission-based sales force. So it's not like they're making additional money by trying to upsell you on things. It's always been a very big upsell experience every time the plumbers come out. I'll give you an example. The very first time. So just to give you a little bit of an idea. So I have a water softener that was replaced by the previous owner in 2001. Is it a Home Depot water softener? Inexpensive, very basic? Yes. It's 3 years old, right? Operates just fine. Said you've seen it.
Yep.
My water heater. It's a A.O. Smith, I believe is the
Yep.
brand
A.O.
name.
Smith. Yep.
Popular brand at Lowe's. I looked it up online today. It's around $600-700 for the one that I have.
Yeah.
Now, granted, a lot of the stuff that's in these stores, Lowe's, Home Depot, it's all like the very, and maybe you guys would disagree with me, but a lot of it is the very baseline, entry level, low cost, home builder DIY type stuff, right?
Built for them. They
Right.
have
Down to the
So-
lawnmowers. Yep.
Apparently, this is still under warranty. But it's the warranty is under the previous owner's name. And I would assume that me trying to call and go through that whole process would be a total nightmare. And I don't have the time for that because I already mentioned I'm flying to Georgia tomorrow and I will be gone until Saturday. And right now I have a little bit of water, which is clearly coming out of the water tank. That was replaced in 2020. It's 4 years old. The first time they came, I've lived here for 2 years, Sedge?
Yep.
2 years old. First time they came, they told me, hey, your water softener is running just fine. average lifespan is 5 to 8 years, whatever they
Yep.
said. Your water heater average lifespan, you're looking at about 5 to 7 years. For this model, maybe you get a little bit more, maybe you get less, whatever. Everything's running great. But here's why you should get a tankless water heater. And if you do it today, we can do this, and you already have a gas line. We can do a gas tankless water heater. It's all these benefits, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, cool. How much? Yeah, $7,000. I'm like, go kick rocks. Get out of here. But sir, it's going to outlive your home. I don't care. I'm not going to be here in 6 years. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not worried about that. So everything was fine, but they've done that every single time. I actually had one guy here one time. He went down there. I asked him to come out and fix a soldering repair on a piece of copper pipe that was dripping. He gave me an estimate to replace all the copper in my house with PEX, and he gave me an estimate to replace my current water heater to a tankless. And when I told him, I was like, look, bro, I don't need I asked you to come out here to fix a one tiny little spot, a couple $100, whatever, that's what I paid last time. I don't need a tankless water heater. Why not? He said that to me at my dining room table. Well, why not? Because you just told me that the stuff I have is good. Yeah, but this stuff is better.
I did extensive research on tankless the last time we replaced.
It's annoying.
And they said, I talked to people that were in the industry that have nothing to gain by telling me one way or another. They told me that Kentucky is borderline on being south enough for a tankless water heater to be efficient. So I know for sure Indianapolis is off the grid of being efficient. They said you'll deal with two things. You'll deal with not enough hot water, and then you'll end up adding an auxiliary tank after it just to hold the water, which kind of ruins the whole point of it. Because now you have a tank that's heating up. It's almost like the electric car. It sounds great, but when you start looking at the practicality of it, we're just not there yet. But it sounds amazing. But I really wanted to go with that.
I'm sure that there's a lot of great benefits to it, because I know some people that have them. They're like, oh, it's awesome. But it's just like, I'm in a house with me and my wife and the two boys. We have never used enough. Even when Patrick and Michelle are here visiting and they're showering and Nicole's showering and I'm showering, we've never run out of hot water, right?
Exactly.
Like ever.
Right.
So we're down in the basement today. I was like, he gets here at like 12:50. My first call is at 1:00. I'd already reached out to the person I'm helping with the shop layout stuff. And I was like, hey, I apologize. Here's what's going on. Just understand that I'm going to be a little bit late. Let's just shoot for 1:30, whatever. Guy comes in. He's been here before. He was actually the last guy that came out and did the plumbing checkup. And he remembered me because we had a conversation where I told him I have almost canceled this service every single time they come out to do the routine check, because I don't like how they're trying to upsell me. However, I have had to call them a few times to where when I had the dishwasher installed, they had to come out and add a fitting because there wasn't enough pipe there and they couldn't install the dishwasher. And they're like, you just need to have them extend this. They came out the very next day, took care of they came out that evening, took care of the problem. I paid the money. So they've been really good for that. But when they're coming to do their free services, they're just trying to sell stuff. And what it makes me feel like is, how many people do you think that they have made spend thousands of dollars? And this is the conversation that I had with the guy last time he was here. That's why he remembers me. And like, how many people would, if I knew that as a salesman, I'm making money based on the fact, whether or not their stuff is good, I'm not going to make a bunch of money from that. But if I can get them to buy a tankless water heater and replace it, and they spend $9,000 on a tankless water heater to be installed, then I'm going to make $1,000 in commission or whatever the case is, which clearly is what's happening. So I said, that's just shady practice, and I don't like that. So we're down there today. He takes a look. It's right next to the water softener, but it's very clear. It's very clear that it's the hot water heater. Because Sedge, they're right next to each other.
Yep.
And so it's like, it's my air handler or my air conditioning unit. And on the left-hand side is like the main trunk with the airflow and everything and the filter. And then right next to that is the hot water heater. And right next to that is the water softener. It's all surrounding the underneath portion of there's not a lot of water, but I mean, it was enough to puddle, in that little area. And I even have a water sensor down there underneath the air conditioning unit. So it hasn't hit that yet. So, now I'm just stressed. Like, is it going to, burst tonight because they're coming to fix it tomorrow? And, we start talking and he's like, oh, we could put a tankless right here. And I'm like, look, the last time you guys gave me an estimate on the tankless, I couldn't remember exactly what the price was, but for some reason I thought it was around the $3,500 mark. And at that time I was like, I'm probably wrong on that because I'm pretty sure it was more expensive, but he looked at me and he kind of laughed. He goes, hey boss, you're probably looking at $3,500 just to replace this with a similar unit.
That's bullshit.
And
That's
I'm like,
bullshit.
I'm like, what? Like the same unit? He's like, well, no, the units that we are going to get, they're higher quality units than you would go buy at a home store. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't imagine them being that much more expensive.
They're like 700 for a.
Yes, installed from Lowe's.
Well, I mean, even the one you buy, like when I buy at a plumbing supply store, and those are A.O. Smith usually. They're
I mean, the one
around
that I have at Lowe's,
650.
it's around $700, but that's
Yeah.
just for the unit.
Yeah.
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 So while we come back upstairs. I was like, look, man, it's a pipe dream. We come upstairs. I said, give me a ballpark on what you think a tankless would be. And he was like, 7 to 10. And I was like, dude, don't even give me an estimate for it. Don't even give me an estimate for it. He's like, well, we have financing. I said, I don't care. It's not a matter of the money. It's not a matter of whether or not I can or can't finance it. I will not spend that. He's like, well, how long are you going to be in this house? I said, it doesn't matter, but 6-7 years, maybe, if that. I'd be surprised if we stayed here that long, right? I was like, so I'm not worried about it. I just don't want water to be leaking, and we want to have hot water. He's like, well, I have to give you an estimate on everything because their company policy, this is ridiculous. Their company policy, after they change this, I think I'm going to cancel.
I would.
But after I've had a similar experience with another local company, though. That's
I can
why
tell
I'm
you
like,
what to do. I'll touch on that in a second.
okay,
Go ahead.
Well, I'm already committed to them fixing this tomorrow, and it's not as much as they said, but it's not that far off. He comes upstairs, and at this point, it's like 1:05, and I'm like, okay, I already know what's going to happen. You're going to go back out to your car. You're going to write up all these estimates. You're going to come back inside because I've done it, right? Exactly what happens. I was like, look, man, can you do this as quick as possible? I don't need the estimates. It's like, well, I have to write up everything. I gave you every option because that's our company policy. I was like, okay. He's like, I'll give you from the bottom to the top. Got it. Walks out, comes back in. 25 minutes later, there's 7 options for me to choose from.
Yeah.
The top being the premium package, tankless water heater, run the lines, all that stuff, just under $10,000. Right? The lowest priced option was I take the time and try to get them to transfer the warranty, which is, probably a multi-hour long process dealing with these companies, especially since I'm not the original owner. And it would still have cost $1,550 with me dealing with the warranty just for them to do the install, haul away the old one, all that other stuff. And I'm like, all I started thinking about was the conversation that you had, like, take what you think it's going to cost and multiply it by 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And that is what I'm noticing across the board with everything now.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, don't just, I'm looking at this list of 7. Where is it? Right here. Let me show you this. You got to see it. You got to see it to believe it. If you guys were watching this, you're going to love this. Oh my God.
That way you can make a choice at which one of the overpriced options you want to go with.
Yes. That is all of the options. Top to the optimum, premium, standard, good, base, minimum.
Yeah, you're like, I'm a minimum guy.
Well, no, the minimum was me going through the warranty claim.
They know you're not doing the minimum.
So I looked at the price, install 50-gallon standard electric with 6-year parts and tank warranty, 1-year labor warranty, thermal expansion tank, and whatever pan, like a pan, which I don't have a pan under mine right now. But a better quality, I think it's like Rheem is one of the ones that they use, like the Rheem commercial, whatever. And I've heard of Rheem before. I know that Rheem is a fairly reputable brand. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but from what I understand. So while he's doing the estimate, and I know I'm going off on a tangent, but I know that this is going to lead to an interesting conversation. He goes out there. I'm looking online, like tankless water heater prices, and then I find a bunch of tankless water heaters anywhere from like $1,400 at Lowe's to, yeah, you're paying $3-4 grand for a tankless water just for the water heater. So I'm like, okay. Then I was like, okay, regular water tank. And then that's when I found out like $600-700 for the box store ones. And then I found ones that were all the way up to $2,500 to $3,000.
Those are hybrid ones.
Yeah.
Which sucked.
And
I had one of those in my house, got rid of it. It lasted 5 years.
well, it would have been 1 year longer than this crappy one. So then I started Googling like average cost for, water tank replacement, right? And oh boy, did I get a massive difference. Some websites, the funny thing is that the older websites, the ones that were like an article from like 2 years ago, average cost for a new tank or a new water heater, not tankless, new water heater installed from a company, you're looking anywhere from $900 to $1,800. Saw that quite a few times in the older articles. Then I found a bunch of articles that were this year, and it was like $1,600 to $3,300. I found $2,000 to $3,000. I found $600 to $1,500. Like it was just all over the place.
Crazy.
And I'm like, oh, geez. So he comes back inside, gives me the list. I need to make a decision because I need to get on a call. I'm leaving tomorrow. I don't want my wife to deal with this. That's the last thing I need. I look at the base thing, and it was $2,600. $2,600. They're going to haul away the old one. They're actually going to haul away. This is something that I do appreciate. They're also going to take that stupid water softener that I have down there, Sedge, the one that you took the lid off and you're like, let this stuff, air out, evaporate or whatever. Yeah. And they're taking all of that. So that'll be nice. Not $2,600 nice. And they're going to install the thing tomorrow. I'm not going to be here. I'll be here when they arrive, but then I got to leave. And it was just one of those times where like the timing could not be worse because I already know what would have happened. If I would have said, you know what, screw this, I'm going to call around and get estimates, one of two things would have happened. I would have been just as disappointed by other local companies unless I hired some, local handyman to do it. And then God, now you got to worry about warranty and all this other stuff. Or it would have burst while I was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would have ruined your trip because you would have been worried about it.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm sorry. I know that was very long-winded, but I'm just like, what is going on? $2,600 to be honest with you, after my initial conversation with him, it was a relief. It was a relief to me because one, based on the research that I had just done, even though I knew I was going to write you, I was going to call you actually while he was in the car. But because I was just curious, like Ronnie, like, what would you, like if you were to do this for a customer, what would you charge?
I can install a water heater in an hour and 20 minutes. I'm like the guy, like on Christmas Story when he has them change the wheel and gives them the hubcap and stuff.
Yeah.
I have like with the rentals, I have water heaters go out all the time. So it's almost like something like I play a game with myself. I see how fast can I get in there and get out and do it. And I can do it in an hour and 20 minutes. And I'm not like a professional expert at it. It's very easy to do. I'm amazed. I've heard the prices. It's not just you. I've heard the prices, what they're charging to change out water heaters. And it blows my mind. If I almost think I would just need to start a water heater install business because you can make like what, $10,000 a day if you just had them stacked. It's crazy. And I pay around $650 now for water heaters, which blows my mind because I used to get them for $250, $300. And at the same place now, they're $650. A lot of it is because of government regulations and things they're making them put on that, as well as HVAC systems and things like that. They just keep making the systems get more and more expensive and also more prone to breaking, which is equally annoying. So you're paying more money for technology that's supposed to save energy, but all that technology is always something more to break. And therefore you pay more money for it and you buy it more often, which drives me crazy. That I guess there's just no way of getting around with it. A lot of it is the Energy Star stuff and things like that.
Yeah, that's
happening with cars too. mean, look at the cars with now where they shut down every time you stop at a stoplight. Do you think that's good for the starter in the
No,
to
no,
stop and start, stop and start? And they do
no.
it so they can get the miles, the EPA mileage, but it's not good for the car. And they make it to where you sometimes you can't even turn some of this stuff off. But I like honest estimate, like I would think that you could get it done for somewhere around like I would say 1,500 to 1,700. You would. Now that would be what I was going to tell you next. You're not going to get it from one of those kind of companies. You're not. My brother-in-law is a plumber, and so is my father-in-law. And he lived in Cincinnati for a short time, and he worked for a national plumbing franchise, like what you're talking about. And he learned a lot when he worked from them, but he said he could not stay there because he was ripping people off left and right. It was company policy to do so. You have to do everything you were talking about doing. And he learned a lot when he came back, and he went back to his hometown and started his business on his own. He said he learned a lot of things that he would not have learned growing up with his dad being a plumber, a small town plumber. But what I'll say from that, if you go to somewhere like, I'll say, I know we both have Ferguson's. I think you have one in Indianapolis.
Yep.
Ferguson's is a plumbing supply store. Go to that store and tell them what you want. Say, I'm looking for somebody who is a plumber who works on water heaters. I want to have them that I call when I have problems, but I don't want them to be a national chain. I want it to be somebody local, mom and pop, that does the work and has been working on like 20, 30 years. They know every single one of those people. They can tell you because they see them every day. And that's who you want, because those people, when you call out, they're more like me. They're coming out. Their ideal thing would be to fix your situation right then without even having to go get something. They would rather just get the money. Hey, I can fix this fitting right here, or I can run up here and get this. They don't usually want to change your water heater out, for example. But even though yours sounds like it needs to be changed out, but they're also not going to do this big upsell on you. They're just wanting to get it done. They're not going to go out to their van and sit in it for 25 minutes. They're not going to do that because that's time is money, and they're like playing a game. So I would find something like that. Those for electrical, any of those trades, go to the place where they buy a painter, go to a paint store. They will tell you, they know exactly who the painters are who are coming in, and they know who to tell you.
And the other advice I'll tell you on that, Ronnie, is I always, hey, how many crews you got? How many trucks you got? Because some of these people start out as a mom and pop, but they grow.
Very good point.
And they have to hire people who aren't that great.
Very good point.
And I had a situation with running my gas line here, and the HVAC company recommended somebody. I used them. I watched them install my gas line. I had Vectran come in, run the line, and then you have to have a plumbing company run the line to your furnace. It's the first time I had gas done. So I said, we use these guys. And they're out of Brownsburg. I'll just say that. I won't tell you who they are. But I watched them and I listened to them because they were doing it right below my office here. And I watched them out the front window. And I listened to their conversation about, hey, man, how's vacation? They bullshitted out of the 4 hours, 3 hours.
That's annoying.
Okay. It's very annoying. And then they left. 2 weeks later, gas gets turned on and I smell gas. They didn't hook it up to the HVAC correctly. And I had to evacuate the house. And the guy who came from Vectran tightened up. He goes, it's right here. I'll just tighten it up. That whole weekend, I didn't sleep because there was a leak. I had the HVAC company come out and they go, hey, everything's tight on our end. It's the plumbing. And I had those guys come out. But I did one thing, because it's not that I was paranoid. I didn't believe what they were telling me. I bought my own gas sniffer.
That's a good idea.
It was $75, had it delivered next day, Amazon. And I checked the whole line. I found it. They came out and they said, we can't find anything. I go, come over here. And I said, come over here now, numbnuts. Okay. Check this area right here. And he goes, sir, I'm so sorry. I go, you put my family in dire danger. Fix it and fix it right. So I get on the phone up here and I'm telling the story, and he's below me and I'm making sure he hears me. And then I find out a month later that this plumbing company is horrible. Right? And they have a bunch of crews and they can't hire anybody decent. So when
Big point.
I have another plumbing company that I should have used, that I've used in the past. They're out of Franklin, Indiana, and they have done all my sump pump work. I had an estimate by a national chain, and I told them to leave the house.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I will
unfortunate.
never use a national chain.
The more national chain franchisee, or like Sedge said, it could be at one time a mom and pop, but now they're running 20, 30 vans. If they're running
Yes.
that kind of size,
No.
they've went to the national conventions and they know how to upsell. They know all that stuff.
Yes.
You don't
And
want to
you're
be,
paying for their
yes,
marketing, much
you're
like
paying for their
Yes.
Wilson
marketing.
Windows, B
Yes.
window. Yeah.
Horrible.
Because the thing is, if you find somebody who's a small, like, a 2-man or 3-man operation, they don't have to advertise. They're busy all the time, and you're going to get their expertise, and they're not going to try to upsell you. Something else you really pointed out was a really good point. I want to make sure I clarify. With the water heaters that I'm installing are always electric. If we get a house and it has gas, the very first thing I do is take the water heater out and I change it over to electric, because a couple of reasons. I don't want tenants to deal with pilot lights. I don't want to
Mhm.
deal with the exhaust from gas. I don't want to
Yep.
deal with gas in general. Usually, I know that's probably a difference in here in Indy. You probably have gas a lot more than we do, even though you're only just a little more
It's a
north
lot
than
more
us.
common up here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I try to do away with that because I don't want to mess with gas either.
Yeah.
When I'm
Mm.
changing out a water heater, it's 2 pipes and a conduit fitting. That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. And I want to clarify that. I don't mess with the gas. That's not in my,
I
I don't want to watch a YouTube about gas, learning how to do that. So
We had the same thing in my basement with the water heater. They're good for 6 years. Just
yeah, that's
count on
about
6 years.
right.
Make sure you drain them, but
Yeah.
they're good for 6 years because we have a lot of hard water here.
Yeah. Mine
And
is 5. That's what
and
I'm
what
at.
happens? What happens is, as soon as I get I'm on my third. I'm on my third, and I saw it down there. I didn't want it to burst. Mary Ann and I went to Lowe's. It was 9 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. Sunday it was installed. I think we paid about installed a little over $1,100 each time. We got a good deal because of install, because Mary Ann works at Lowe's. They bring it in, take it out. But some of these guys that come from Lowe's or a Home Depot, I mean, they're subs. You got to really pay attention to what they're doing.
Yes.
And you have to pay attention while they're in your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you look at my and every hot water I get, you can look at it. There's a Sharpie on there. It's the date I get it.
Yeah. That's smart.
I write exact date that it was installed right on them, or right on the appliance. And these guys came in and they go, "Oh, we didn't bring enough pipe. Do you have any cinder blocks we could put it on?" And I did. There's no biggie.
Yeah.
I had them there before, but it's just like I have to supply shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's not good.
You know,
Go ahead.
the other thing that I'm noticing, and I've noticed this before when reading these, but the higher, this optimum, premium, I want to read some of these to you guys real quick just so you can see. But the one common discrepancy between all of them, what the only thing that you're getting different between each one of these, they're selling warranties is what they're
Yes.
selling. Because listen to
Okay.
this.
Can I
Go ahead.
mention one thing?
Yeah.
One thing. The reason they say I have to write the estimate, it's a company policy. They know you're going to tell them to go pound sand, but that goes into the office to a telemarketer, and they'll
Mhm.
badger you with those estimates. Hey, hey, we have your estimates here.
Right.
They
Right.
want to do that second step to badger you.
Yep.
You know what's crazy too? I had to go through and X out every single one that he wrote down and initial it and circle the one that I was agreeing to.
Like a car
And then
dealer.
yes, yes. It was so stupid. Like 100% I'm canceling this company immediately.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Optimum, $9,829. Okay. Install Optimum tankless with 15-year full parts warranty, 3-year, not a dime labor. Isolation valves for servicing, full home recirculation, and inline filter. Member price, they have to do that. Member price is this. Non-members like $1,000 more. Okay. Ridiculous. The guy who pays $6 a month, is going to save $1,100. Like stupid. Here's premium. All it says here is install premium tankless with 10-year warranty. Only difference between the two, $8,500. Standard, install standard tankless with 5-year parts, 1-year labor, $7,900. This is really going to blow your mind. Here's the option that's labeled good. This is the one above what I got. Install 50-gallon Marathon electric water heater with lifetime tank warranty, 5-year parts warranty, 2-year labor, thermal expansion tank, emergency man. Same thing basically that I'm getting, except apparently this is a much better one. $7,939. That's
Gosh.
for a I feel like that's a filler one to make
Mhm.
people go, oh man, well, if I went with that one, I might as well just upgrade to the
Mhm.
tankless.
You know what else I keep thinking about? The wife, like you're like looking at it and your wife's like, you mean you're only going to give us like the good level? Why aren't you giving us the better or the best? Why are you giving us? It's such a good sales tactic.
Unbelievable.
Make the husband get in
So
trouble.
$2,600 today is what I paid, but I am 100% not
Well,
continuing
I,
with
you
these
know what?
guys. I just can't do it.
When you call and cancel, I think it would be really good to at least go down for a reason and say, when I pay this member price, I expect for it to be where it's a painless operation and I have very little interaction and it just happens. It turns into this big event that they come and then they have to wait while they're in the driveway and it's too much of an effort. I don't want to be a member, and they could be like, oh, but that's our policy to do it. Well, okay, I'm not interested.
Well, one of the times that I had that they called to schedule my, regular semi-annual stuff, it was a plumbing one. Again, I've never had an issue with the AC guys. They've always been fantastic. But the plumbing guys, they had this guy call me and he's like, hey, you're due for your whatever. And I said, look, I'll schedule it. Let's have the guys come out. I was like, but I want to make it very clear right now. I do not want to be sold to. And I explained to him and he was like, oh, I'll make sure I put that in the notes. And as a matter of fact, the guy that came today, he was the tech that came out for that typical service, which is what caused us to have that conversation. And I'm not talking bad about the guy that was here. Nice guy.
He's doing his job. Yeah.
He's doing his job. I
Yeah.
completely understand that. But holy cow, you would have thought I would have learned my lesson when I got an estimate from Anderson Windows, renewal by Anderson.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm glad you chose what you chose. I think you slightly overpaid, but you said you were going out of town. It's almost like worth the premium. Just get it done.
I think that had an effect on the price as well, just to be clear.
Well, I'm
My
just
desperation.
so glad. I'm just so glad you didn't say you went with any other levels because I wouldn't be able to make you feel better. I would have
Hey,
been like, oh man.
On a total off note, do you know who invented the first Pilsner beer?
Ronnie's great grandmother.
No, it was done in Pilsen in the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Huh.
Pilsner Urquell.
Pilsner Urquell.
Did
That's the first. Did you know that's the first Pilsner beer?
Did not
yes,
know that.
The original Pilsner.
I've got another fun fact.
I would like to. We can close this out on fun conversation about beer or whatever Ronnie's going to talk about. I wanted to share that with you guys. Today sucked. It was stupid. I overpaid yet again for something, but they knew that I needed it and I needed it now. And I'm sure that so moral of the story, don't hire companies that are commission-based sales tech forces, commission-based tech forces. Do not do it because it will always be this way. And I apologize for any of our patrons that are out there in those positions. It's not to be disparaging towards you and anybody that's listening to this podcast. It's just that you have to understand from a consumer perspective, it is incredibly frustrating to be told in one sentence, everything is great and it's operating as it should be, to then be tried to be sold something that costs 3 times more than it should in the very next sentence. So,
yeah. It's something to me as a business owner, I look at it, I'm like, it's so smart. Should we be doing that kind of thing? But then I think about it, that's not attracting my kind of client, my customer, because a lot of my customers and clients would not fall for that kind of thing. And when you're in a plumbing business or HVAC, everyone is your customer. So it tells me they're focusing on the level of customer that's not as, what's the word for it? It's not smart, not as business savvy, and that they can take advantage of, which could be the lower end, the middle end, your upper end. They just wouldn't fall for that. and you didn't fall for it either. Don't get me wrong. You didn't, because you went with a more reasonable option. But a lot of times people would be set with all those options. Their wife's sitting there looking at them. If they went with anything over like 5 levels and they went with level 2, their wife would be like, you don't love us. It's like,
Right.
it's a bad thing. Something else I was going to tell everybody, if you're ever doing a water heater, here's my number one tip. And I forget it sometimes. You know how you have to drain the water heater first? Don't forget to drain the water heater before you disconnect the pipes at the top, because most of the time they're clogged and you're not going to be able to get the water out if you don't have the water pressure pushing that release valve at the bottom. I forgot that the last one that I did, and it added probably 30 minutes to the job.
See, it crossed my mind for a second. I was like, I could probably just do this myself. I know plenty of handy people. There's plenty of YouTube videos on it.
You could, but when you drain it, there's usually sediment down there. And if you just turn it without any water pressure on it, the water's just going to sit there and it's going to have usually some sediment that's clogged. But if you still have the water heater off, the very first thing you do is turn that release valve at the bottom, and it'll shoot out usually some, rusty water if you don't have a hose connected to it. But go ahead and get that cleared first, turn it off, then disconnect everything. So then when you turn on that drain, it's going to drain out. Because if you don't do that,
leave the pressure on.
leave the pressure on,
Open it up.
To where it
Close it, then turn off the water.
Yeah, it blows the sediment that's blocking that valve.
Got it.
out.
Got it.
Then turn it back off and do it. And it's a huge. My brother-in-law is a plumber, and I called him one time and I was like, I can't get it to drain. It just won't drain. He's like, there's sediment in there. You got to do that. He goes, did you disconnect the water pressure? I was like, yes. He's like, don't do that. He's like, keep the pressure on, let it be your friend. Then unhook the pressure after that.
Oh, okay. So even if you start it and you forgot, you can redo it.
Well, you could hook the pipes back up and put the
Yeah.
pressure back on it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
but
that was the other part of it that I didn't want to deal with, and that's getting the stuff out of the basement and then trying to
Yes.
find a way to dispose of it. So to me,
Yes.
like, there's certain things that I'm all about trying to do on my own. And
I
that
agree.
list is growing the longer I own a home,
Yeah.
because the more people I have come out here to do estimates, the more I'm like, F you.
I agree.
do it
I
myself.
have the
Yes.
advantage of my Sprinter. When I go out and work, I can put it in there. Then I take it back to my shop, and at my dump trailer is like my dumpster, and I just throw it in there. And then once it gets full, I take it. So it's very painless for me to do that. And like Sedge said, I see like 5 years is good now for a water heater. If you can get 5
Yep.
years, you're good. That's just the way kind of it is. And on the hybrid ones, the ones they talk to you about, those ones that have a condenser on the top, we had a GE one, and we only went that way because there was a government incentive, took like $1,000 off from it. It did not last more than 5 or 6 years. So I would not recommend those. And we always had trouble with having enough hot water. We've been there 20 years, and that was a dark time for us because that 5 years, and that's a form of an instant water in a way, because it has the little wires on the top.
Yeah.
It was not able to keep up with the demand.
Mm.
So you went with the right thing. I like your
I've-
choice.
I've never run
I-
out of hot water, even though
Never.
it's Marianne and I. At the Christmas, we have all the company that comes in for the party. We have 10 people staying with us. Nobody,
Good.
we've never had a situation lack of hot water.
The most recent thing is they're gotten rid of 50-gallon now, and you have 40 only
Yeah.
as an option. So there's a lot of plumbers that were buying up all the 50s, stockpiling them, but I think they're gone now.
Ugh, expensive day. But
Yeah, it is. But you got it
Nothing.
out of the way, and you can go on and go out of town, and I just
and
would
enjoy my
cancel that
trip. I'll be
service.
here tomorrow when they show up, but I'll be out of here before they leave. But luckily Nicole will be here. But I'm showing Nicole tomorrow, like, honey, here's the breaker. They're going to need to turn off the power. I was like, when they arrive, I'll shut it off. When they're done and they say they need it turned on, I want you to come out here and I want you to flip this breaker on, because I don't want them coming out in the shop when I'm not here.
Do they know
It's the
where they
last
need
thing
to
I need.
drain? Do they know where they need to drain it to? In the basement?
Well, there's a hose that is on it right now that leads directly to the location where everything drains into.
Okay, good. Yeah,
But
that should be everything.
Yeah, make
Um,
sure that it's before they bring it up the stairs to dispose of it. It's sealed so you don't get rust dripping over everything.
Yeah.
that'll be the last thing I need.
And oh my god, those guys hacked up a couple of my stairs bringing it out the last time. I think they were meth addicts.
So that was the funny thing. Every time I've ever had one of the techs come out, the techs that come out to do the estimate on whatever the thing is, they're always the people that do it. However, when they're doing a big job like that, they have their crews that come in and follow right behind them
Yeah.
to correct those things. So he's like, I was like, aren't you going to do it? And he's like, well, it probably won't be me, because this isn't something that I can just do here on the spot. He's like, we have crews that will come out and do this stuff. So now I'm concerned, like, who are the crews that are doing it? You know what I mean?
That's back to this. It's better to be a smaller company where I know everything that I do. It's going to be me, and no one else is going to come in there and fix my mistakes. And there's people like that in every city, especially where you all live. You just got to find out who they are. We have an exterminator in that category. That's awesome. We have a HVAC guy and we have a plumber. We have all three of those in the categories right now that we know we can call them, and they'll tell us whether or not we need to replace something or whether we need to fix it. And they're in the same boat as we are. They're trying to get as fixed as fast as possible. And that's important to find those people.
The one thing that I do like about going through a process like this and actually purchasing it from the company, they're coming out to do the work. Granted, I paid more, but I do like the peace of mind knowing that in 3 years, 4 years, I'm still living here and that thing goes out, right? That I can call Service Plus and I can say, hey guys, this thing's leaking and I have a 6-year warranty. Need you to come fix it, right? So part of me enjoys that. And I don't have to deal with like, it was bought through Lowe's, but you have to go through the warranty claim for this company and, you know, go through this headache. And because I've done that kind of stuff before. And it's like, you're on the phone for like 2-3 hours sometimes, or going back and forth trying to get a hold of the people. So that part of it, I'm like, okay, but still at the same time, it's like, hey, thanks for buying this new vehicle. Do you want to get an extended warranty? It's like, no, F you. I don't need it. Right.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I feel like I got shafted today. Like I bought a Toyota Tundra and they were like, oh, let's give you the extended 150,000 mile warranty for an extra $8,000.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Just get your 5. You can get your 5. You're good. But it sounds like you have 6. That's good too. Yeah, I think you can get 8 easy, but I think you're pushing it. When you get to 8, plan on it getting replaced because they don't last that long. They just don't.
4 years though, it's such a joke. Like
I know.
Granted, he probably only paid $700 for the unit.
Yep.
But actually, no, it probably wasn't $700 in 2020. You know, pre-COVID.
I get plumber pricing on the account that I go to, which is my brother-in-law, my father-in-law, and the water heaters still cost me about $625, $640.
I would love to know what the actual cost this company is paying for whatever brand water heater they're putting in.
I would say that that's about where they are because they're buying from the same place. Sometimes they are different. The ones from Lowe's are different than the ones from, specialty stores. That goes down all the way to even lawnmowers.
Everything. Yeah.
Toro and John Deere at Lowe's are different than at the garden centers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Different components. Toilets. Yep. If you buy a Kohler toilet at Lowe's and look at the inside of the bowl and buy a Kohler toilet at Ferguson at the plumbing supply, total different mechanicals on the inside of it. Yeah. I found that interesting, and it's cheaper at the other place.
Well, that's how they like get it down to, reasonable, affordable prices for the, oh, hey, look, we found that one.
Yeah, that's cool.
For the homeowner, it's like, oh, you're getting a great deal. Well, yeah, they had to cut costs somewhere.
Right. Yeah, something's cutting somewhere. It'll be a plastic part instead of a metal part, things like that. But
it's like buying a Jet versus buying a Powermatic, or same stuff. Different tolerances, different quality of components. Looks the same, different color paint, but it ain't the same machine. But they have to cut costs somehow.
Right.
Anyway, I'm gonna have to jump because Nicole, because she had a crappy day, she actually needs to come back down here now, and I need to go up with Leo so she can continue working in preparation for tomorrow.
I'm meeting everybody at a restaurant that's at Country Boy. They're already there. So yeah, I'm going to have to go too.
Okay. I'm going to continue on by myself.
All right. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Thanks for listening. Congratulations to our winners. Anybody out there that wants to become a patron and have your chance to win and get all the other great perks, go to patreon.com/Green Suiters Podcast and give us money.
Enjoying beers with the boys. Bourbon with the boys.
Yeah, you get something out of it.
Discord.
Have fun.
Everything. Huge community. You need to be part of it.
Yep. Yes. If you're not, you're missing out.
Yep.
Okay, everybody.
Guys. Bye-bye.
Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.